The Black Knight satellite, ancient watcher, lost sentinel, or silenced messenger. I've stared into the blackness of space countless nights, wondering what's really out there. And every so often there's a story that won't let me sleep, one that feels less like a myth and more like a breadcrumb left in the stars. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey into one of the most mysterious objects ever said to orbit our planet, the Black Knight satellite. A timeline of intrigue, 1899, Tesla's mysterious signals. 1928, first long-delay echoes recorded. 1954, press reports two mysterious satellites. 1960, U.S. Navy photographs the object. 1973, Duncan Lunan proposes Epsilon Buddhist star map link. 1998, NASA claims thermal blanket explains the object. 2017 to 2019, Black Knight sightings dwindle, flare observed over Arctic. 2023, conspiracies resurface, tying Black Knight to 3-Eye Atlas. Space junk or something else? Some say it's nothing but space junk. Others claim it's a 13,000-year-old alien probe, silently watching us since before we learned to write. And then there are the whispers, the ones that suggest it was destroyed, not because it was a threat, but because it was telling the truth to something far beyond our solar system, something like the mysterious 3-Eye Atlas. The first whispers, Tesla, signals, and shadows. Let's start at the beginning, at least as far as our recorded history tells it. The story of the Black Knight doesn't begin with satellites or Cold War paranoia. It begins with a genius, Nikola Tesla. In 1899, while experimenting with a high-voltage transmitter in Colorado Springs, Tesla reported receiving strange, repeating radio signals. He believed they came from space, and at the time, the idea was absurd. But those signals, they never left the story. Fast forward to 1928. Amateur radio operators began reporting odd long-delay echoes, signals that would return several seconds after transmission, as if something was out there bouncing them back. Then, in 1954, major newspapers ran with an alarming headline. The U.S. Air Force had detected not one, but two unidentified satellites in orbit. This was years before we had the technology to put anything up there. Sputnik wouldn't launch until 1957. Later, the Navy tried to play the article down by saying it was parts of a broken secret satellite. Really? So what were those objects? And why were they later quietly written off? The name. Birth of the Black Knight. The term Black Knight came into the public eye in 1960 when a dark object in polar orbit was photographed by the U.S. Navy. Polar orbits were rare and difficult at the time, especially for the technology of that era. The media speculated wildly, and the name stuck, the Black Knight satellite. Would they really tell us if we were being spied on? NASA later claimed it was just space debris. A thermal blanket lost during an EVA mission on the Endeavour shuttle in 1998 was cited as a possible match to later images. But if you look at the photos taken in the 1970s, it's hard to mistake that massive, angular object for a flimsy piece of foil. Nothing to see here. The ancient angle, 13,000 years of being watched. Where the story gets truly chilling is when researchers like Duncan Lunan suggested the object could be over 13,000 years old. By analyzing long-delay radio echoes, he proposed that the signals were a star map, a transmission pointing to the star system Epsilon Boötis. Why does that matter? Because Epsilon Boötis was considered significant in several ancient star charts and mythologies, including some that mention sky gods, creators, who came to Earth in our distant past. Could the Black Knight have been left by the Anunnaki, a silent sentinel from Nibiru? Or was it something else entirely, something tied to the Illojim? the mysterious race spoken of in forbidden texts and deep conspiracy lore as the true architects of our matrix-like reality? Enter 3I Atlas, the new visitor to the Milky Way galaxy. Just as the Black Knight began to fade from mainstream memory, a new piece of the puzzle appeared. 3I Atlas, the interstellar object that entered our solar system and left just as quietly. Some compared it to Oumuamua, cigar-shaped, non-comet-like, and fast. But others, they saw it differently. They saw a mothership, or, at the very least, a probe. And here's where the theories collide. What if the Black Knight wasn't just a relic? It was an ancient relay. A long-term observation post left to monitor our species, quietly sending back data to whoever, or whatever, was supposed to receive it. And what if 3I Atlas was a receiver? The collector? The messenger's master coming back to check the mailbox? The secret war in orbit. If that were true, would the powers of Earth allow it to keep transmitting? According to some researchers and insiders, the answer is no. In 2017, a series of classified launches coincided with reports that the Black Knight had disappeared from its known orbit. In 2019, a mysterious flare over the Arctic was seen by pilots and satellites, described as a controlled re-entry, though no object was ever officially logged or found. Had Russia and the United States, two nations rarely in total agreement, collaborated to take out the Black Knight? Was it shot down by a missile, a directed energy weapon, or even an experimental satellite interceptor? And if so, why? Most likely not because it was hostile, but because it was transmitting our exact location. Was it about to send a data dump to incoming alien crafts? After all, it had been spying on us for thousands of years, and it knew all our strategic weaknesses. Who was it reporting to? Here's where the speculation turns cosmic. Some say the Black Knight was feeding data to the Anunnaki, keeping them updated on our progress, our wars, our technological leaps. Others say it was connected to the Illojim, a race described as both overseers and deceivers, maintaining the illusion of freedom while humanity toils in their grand matrix. With 3I Atlas passing so close, the theory gained a new dimension. What if the Black Knight was meant to awaken, transmit, or even call down reinforcements? And what if the ones in power here decided to cut that call off before it was answered? It has recently been said that there is 3 giant spacecraft-type objects which are over 150 miles wide and 150 miles long heading our way at this moment. Is the Black Knight sending them a homing signal? What did we lose or gain? If the Black Knight was a protector, an ancient warning system left to shield us from something worse, then its removal might have left us exposed. But if it was a leash, a device to keep us observed, cataloged, or controlled, then maybe, just maybe, its destruction was a rare moment where humanity acted as one to cut the cord. Either way, the silence is deafening. Since its alleged destruction, the strange echoes have all but ceased. The sky feels quieter. But is that peace or the calm before something greater? The Anunnaki and the Illojim connection. In ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki were described as those who came from heaven to earth. Some interpret them as genetic engineers who modified early humans to mine gold and serve their galactic empire. If they placed the Black Knight here, it might have been to track their experiment, the same way we tag wild animals before releasing them back into nature. Was the Black Knight their homing beacon? It is said that the Anunnaki's planet Nibiru is in an elongated orbit and swings by our planet every 3,000 to 5,000 years. And when we look into Earth history, we can speculate that it has been about that long since the last big Earth-wide event took place. Are they on their way? Does the Black Knight satellite awaken as interstellar objects get closer? Now, let's talk about the Illojim. The Illojim, on the other hand, are whispered about in quiet corners of the internet, religion, and ancient texts as higher dimensional beings, sometimes conflated with the Elohim. But in this lore, they are the architects of the illusion itself, a race that thrives not on gold, but on mind control posing as gods. Could the Black Knight have been one of their nodes, feeding them data from the simulation they allegedly built? Was it keeping our matrix up to date? It seems that when we shut it off, a flood of information began to pour out, and everything we once thought was solid truth is now in question. Is the matrix now broken? And if 3i Atlas is linked to the Illojim, if it was their inspector, then maybe the strike against the Black Knight wasn't a rebellion. It was damage control, an awakening from mind control. My take. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here because every time I look at the night sky, I wonder how much of it is real and how much of it is stage lighting for a far bigger play. I believe something was there. Too many accounts, too many unexplained events, too many patterns over too many decades. And if it really is gone now, then someone made that decision without asking you or me. Was it ours to destroy, or was it theirs to watch? A call to watch the skies. The Black Knight satellite may never transmit again. 3. Atlas has already passed by, silent and enigmatic. But I have a feeling this story isn't over. Ancient watchers don't place sentinels for no reason, and those who silence them often know more than they're willing to admit. Space agencies have stated that there are 3 huge spaceships over 150 miles wide and 150 miles long are on their way and headed straight toward us. I find myself asking, are all these outside visitors just a coincidence? Was the Black Knight sending them the signal X marks the spot? So keep your eyes open, watch the skies, and remember, sometimes the greatest secrets aren't buried underground. They're right above our heads, hiding in plain sight. You have been watching Space: The Final Frontier, above and beyond an open-minded channel, and this has been our take on what may or may not have happened to the Black Knight satellite. This video is intended for entertainment only and not for any other use. If you have enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe and tell us your thoughts about the Black Knight. My final thought for the night. I find it odd that the more I research aliens, outer space, men in black, abductions, UFOs, Hollywood, social media, and even our very existence on Earth, it all seems to be somehow interconnected. And just like a well-scripted movie playing in the Matrix theater, we are told at every corner, don't ask questions. Thank you, and good night.